Hello and welcome to another one of these ADD videos. Today we're going to be looking at an example of a cosine graph, and you should start out with just taking care of the semantics, get the amplitude out of the way, absolute value of the coefficient. Oops, that's supposed to be a straight line. And then the frequency is the coefficient of your x there, absolute value of that. And the period is 2 pi over the absolute value of the frequency. Which in this case is going to give you 2 pi over 2, which the 2's cancel and you get pi. Alright, the phase shift, just set your argument of cosine equal to 0. Add pi to both sides, or pi over 3, sorry. Divide both sides by 2. And there's your phase shift. Now what we got to do is figure out where the new beginning and ending of the graph is. The way you do that is you put your bx plus c portion between 0 and 2 pi. So that's going to be 2x minus pi over 3. So solve for x, add pi over 3 to all sides. When you do so, this side is pretty straightforward. And then if you go off to the side and you do your 2 pi over 1 plus pi over 3, the common denominator is a 3. So I multiplied 1 by 3 to get 3. So 2 pi by 3 is 6 pi over 3. Plus pi over 3 is 7 pi over 3. Okay. Divided by 2 everywhere. And that tells you that the first one's your beginning point of your graph, and the last one's your end point. And the beginning point should match up with this phase shift you found earlier. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Now that we got that, we should take our period, if you remember, which was pi, and multiply it by 1/4 to get the distance between each major point. So we got pi, which is our period, times 1/4. In this case gives us pi over 4. So this is the distance that you add to pi over 6 4 times, and when you're done you should get 7 pi over 6. So let's see if that's true. Let's do pi over 6 plus pi over 4. Common denominators could be 12. And if I did that, you can go off to the side and check on your own, but multiply the bottom by 2, so the top by 2 becomes 2 pi over 12. And then this one, multiply the bottom by 3, so the top by 3, it gives you 3 pi over 12. And when you add those two, you're going to get a 5 pi over 12. I'll put these guys in blue because they're important. These are the main. I'll underline the very first point, and then this is the main point that's going to go on your axis. And then plus another pi over 4, or 3 pi over 12, is going to give me a 8 pi over 12. Again, these blue points are the ones that are going to be going on your graph, plus another pi over 4. This is the third time we're doing it, so we got one more after this. Is going to equal 11 pi over 12 plus pi over 4 one more time. It's going to equal 14 pi over 12. Some of these can be reduced. Let's go ahead and reduce them. 8 and 12 have 4 in common, so if I take 4 out of the top, I get 2. 4 out of the bottom, I get 3, so that's 2 pi over 3 in disguise. And these both have, let's see, 2 in common, so that's 7 pi over 6. Alright, so let's put these on a graph and then make a picture. So here's a nice XY axis, or actually theta, I guess, axis. The amplitude was 4, I believe, right? Excuse me, still kind of early. So we go up 4 units and down 4 units. We start at pi over 6, and this is a cosine graph. Let's see, we can do the graph in green. So cosine normally starts at the top, then hits an axis, then goes to the bottom, back up, and then to the top. But in this case, we have a negative sign. You remember the negative sign in front of the function? You see it's -4. So it's going to flip it about the x-axis. It's a reflection. So let me go ahead and put my axes points on here. That one's a little too far away. Try to keep your distance between them somewhat uniform because it is a fixed distance between each of these points. Alright, so then now that we got that down, we can go ahead and, oops, wrong color, draw the graph. So cosine, again, normally starts at the peak, but we're going to start at the very bottom now. And then the next point on cosine is an axis point. And it would have been a very bottom point, but since it's reflected, it's the very top point. Back to the axis. And then would have been the top point, but now it's at the very bottom. So one fundamental cycle right there for you, ladies and gentlemen. Oops, sorry about that. And then it would keep going in either direction. We're just looking at one of these. And that's basically it. If we were looking at the normal 0 to 2 pi distance, we should have 2 complete fundamental cycles according to that frequency. So I hope things have cleared up a little bit more. Again, the main thing to do here is practice, practice, practice. Okay, it's not too bad. At first it might seem overwhelming, but you can do it. Join me for the next video that we're going to do. We're going to have an actual a vertical shift on our graph. And again, practice. I hope I've cleared up any confusion you might have. Thank you and have a nice day.